Hey, what's going on, guys? Adam Rounisto here in the beautiful Keys in Florida. Absolutely just perfect skies. It's been really great weather, beautiful trees everywhere, and I got some amazing advice for you. This is going to help out with your reading, your comprehension, and everything. You know, when we read a book, we don't really get to the full extent. What do I mean by that? Well, if you want to fully understand a book, you got to pretty much own it. You have to pretty much personalize it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you're in school and you had your textbooks, you know, you have a typical like tagging methods where you go ahead and underline or highlight certain points of important information. You know, we kind of stopped doing that after a while, and these are kind of limited skills. They're helpful in a way to really point out what's important from the book. But you know what? You have so much space in between. You have at the very beginning of the book, some pages have an ending. This one particularly doesn't, but you have a space in the back. Here's a super valuable piece of information. When you're going through the book, either extend the index or literally modify the index. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the person who writes the book is very particular to that person. They decide what to find important, what order they're going to do everything in, but realistically, you're reading this book for your own benefit. So why not specifically write the index for the certain points of importance that aren't already in there, and kind of tell the story about how you understand the book. This is just from the understanding of the author, you know what I mean? And like at space at the very beginning, how many times you read a book and it either gives you a to-do section or something you want to talk about later, and you don't have a notepad just decide where you can write that stuff in. Books are wonderful things. Nobody says we can't write it in them, we just choose not to. Why? I don't know. You look at most people's books and they want to keep it clean and neat and all that stuff. You know, when I first started reading, I can understand this. I would let people borrow, but I would be like, you gotta turn the pages like this, and I would be very diligent, careful not to crack the pages because I wanted to just look nice. But no, screw that. You don't need to do that. Books are for information. Worst case scenario, you buy a new copy. You know what? I'll tell you what. When you personalize this information, there's a difference between like the value of the book and then just like the price of the book itself. You know, worst case scenario, you screw the book up, you can buy another one. What's the most expensive book you've ever seen? If it's a hardcover, huge book, maybe $45, but otherwise it's pretty cheap. And a lot of people would say, well, you know, I can't give that to my friends or to borrow whatever. They would want to, you know, have some written in garbage book or whatever, but that's just a misconception too, because if you have valuable information put in there, you're adding value to the book, you know? You have your initial book and then you have your additional thoughts, extra things. You can take, if you're going to underline, you can take a red pen or a blue pen and underline certain passages in blue if you agree with the author, or in red if you disagree with the author. And most importantly, like when you have that extended index in the back, you can put specific page numbers for the quotes and stuff, because how many times you fiddle through a book and trying to say, oh, here, listen, you know, let's see, Roosevelt once said, I remember doing that before when I was looking through the book for a half hour, you can't find your quotes, you can't find the statistics, you can't find whatever you're trying to find in the book. So as you're reading through it, you got all this space in there, you got margins, you have the front, you have the back. Start using your book the proper way. Own the book. You haven't really finished the book all the way to the full extent, in my opinion, until you've practically contacted the author and asked them all the questions you have. But that's all I've got for you today. I'll go ahead and see you guys. It's going to be another beautiful day. See you guys tomorrow.